I think you don't ever need to do that exercise. Can it help with function? Sure. Now, we need to separate training for maximum function versus maximum aesthetics. But these anatomy trains or these myofascial slings, they were all the rave 20 years ago. Maybe they're making a comeback in some niches. But basically, in the weight room, we develop strength and power.
Today I actually want to react to a reaction video where someone is critiquing a guy who actually made a video with the following title: "Your glutes are not weak, they just lost the connection to the opposite shoulder." This might be a slight provocative title, but let's talk about what's actually true about the body, about myofascial chains, why your body should be trained with function and aesthetics and not either or. I actually appreciate what both of them are trying to say. One guy in practice is focused more on the aesthetic side, building better looking glutes. And that's okay because people care about how their body looks and they will gain function in the process. And the other guy is talking mainly about the functional chains. So how your glutes work as part of a system and not just how an isolated muscle works. And important is that both of these opinions can coexist. But what I do have to flag is that myofascial chains are actually outdated. Saying that basically ignores a big part of manual medicine and functional rehab. Myofascial chains, originally described by Tom Myers, were never meant to be a social media hype. They are a way of describing how form follows function in the body. And some of the described chains might actually cross-interact with each other, but for sure the base of this described system is how we can see how force moves through the whole body. So if you've ever rehabbed hamstrings, groin or lower back pain in athletes, you see and know that local strength alone is not key. And that how chains coordinate with each other actually matters, which is part of plyometrics, ballistic movements, and exercising these parts. Now, using this slightly provocative title actually opened an important debate, which is you can have potentially strong glutes, but they're just not interacting correctly within your system, which might have to do how the force cannot interact with the pelvis, with the trunk, or sometimes even the opposite shoulder. And this debate can be ignored if you only look at isolated strength training. For example, in our sedentary population, the glutes often lose a lot of their strength, even if not all of it, and thereby lose their normal interaction with the rest of the chains within the body, for example, due to an improper pelvic positioning. In other people, myofascial trigger points in or around the glutes might actually inhibit that the glutes can be engaged fully. So this one exercise that was shown is one example how you could target the diagonal chain, but it's not the only way and definitely not the one I would choose first with somebody who's in pain. But conceptually, he's loading the posterior diagonal chain and not just a single muscle, meaning he's training functionally. So my take on this whole debate is aesthetics are valid and people want to look good. And at the same time, function is a non-negotiable, especially if you want to have a body that is useful as an athlete to be explosive, change of directions, and jumps. And one important thing, myofascial chains itself are not outdated. They are one lens to see all this through and they are a foundation to build upon. So in the end, you really should have both. Muscles that do look good, but that also fulfill the function that they actually should. I'm an orthopedic physician who lives at the intersection of tendon, movement, and identity. So if you need rehab support to get back to where you want to be in your sport and a body with muscles that actually work, that's what this account is for.